Yo, what's up everyone? I believe we are live right now on SNES Super Stars. I'm Drakodan. This is going to be Sparkster for the Super Nintendo, strangely enough. I mean, there is a version of this on Genesis as well, albeit it's a completely different game. It's not what we're going to be doing though. It's going to be doing the SNES version. In my opinion, it's the definitely superior speed game, so that's pretty lucky. I'm going to get started by just going to a complete reset so I can get back to the title screen, and I get to control my own time and stuff, don't I? Yeah, I get to start completely at my own pace. So I'm gonna get started in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh, I get to control the timer, it's cool. So yeah, this is Sparkster. This is a game that belongs to the Rocket Knight series, which started on the Genesis with Rocket Knight Adventures. So if you are familiar with that game, you will kind of know what to expect in this game. You're a blue rat thing, you're an opossum actually, and you wear a suit of armour and have a jetpack and a sword, and you use that jetpack to get around everywhere, and you use the sword to destroy everything that's in your way. You also use the rocket boost to deal damage, and unique to this game in the series, you also have the rolling attack on L and R, which is great for both attacking and for movement. And there's quite a bit of like dynamic movement and just flexible options in this game, which hopefully we'll get to demonstrate a lot of as we're going through. Just going through stage 1, it's a pretty simple affair where I'm just going to be taking pretty scripted series of boosts. Like, a lot of the routing in this game, so to speak, is just using boosts at what is hopefully like optimal points to try and maintain a pretty fast pace. And we're already through to the first boss. So bosses in this game typically are a lot of damage boosting, but not for this first boss. I'm just going to stand against the body here and keep using upwards boosts once the visor opens, revealing the weak spot. I could stand to get hit a couple of times here, because I have quite a bit of health remaining here. And so every time you reach the end of a stage in this game, you get 2 bonuses. You get the static stage clear bonus, which is always the same amount and always takes the same amount of time for that reason. And then you also get the life bonus, which also scrolls up at the same amount, but it's capped based on your remaining life. So you save time in this game by reaching the end of each stage with as little health remaining as possible. And if that sounds dangerous, believe me it is, where a lot of bosses you want to enter damage races and use your health as a resource to deal damage faster. It can be pretty dangerous, but we'll see more of that as it's relevant. So stage 2 here is just a very movement-oriented stage. Made a slight mistake there, but it's fine. Okay, I might go for a safety option, or... Okay, since I didn't take that hit, I'm going to take the risky option, where I made a bit of a mistake and took a couple of hits before. The issue is that there's no healing in the stage before I get to the boss. And the boss's behavior is... Okay, now I'm going to be safe. There's... Oh. Okay. There's not actually any health up there, so I'm going to have to just not take damage on this boss, I guess. And I'm going to wait for an audio cue here. I'm going to play this pretty safe to start with. Okay, thankfully I'm getting a very passive boss pattern, so that's nice. And so, yeah. So, alright, that didn't exactly go to plan, but I got a pretty passive pattern from the boss, and I was able to end on a very low health value. So I will pretend that was all deliberate. I guess we'll just go with that. That's fine, right? Oh my god, this is interesting already. Okay, so... moving on to stage 3. It's mostly auto-scroller for the start of stage 3, so I'm going to literally be like doing nothing on the controller for the first like 60 seconds of this stage. It's faster to just do nothing. You can't speed up the progress of this auto-scroller, and all you can really do is cause lag frames by destroying things, so I'm just going to sit and take a couple of hits, and we'll heal off all the damage at the halfway point of the stage anyway. So this is a good opportunity to talk a bit more about like the Sparkster's toolkit and how combat really works in this game. So all enemies have a health pool, they have like a certain number of hit points, and your different forms of attacks deal different numbers of damage. So the sword projectile that gets fired out deals 3 damage, the physical sword hitbox deals 4 damage, the rolling attack deals 5 damage, and the rocket boost deals 6 damage. So if you're wanting to deal as much damage per hit as possible, the rocket boost is the way to go. However, it's not the highest for DPS because you need to charge the rocket boost and it's not spammable. The rolling attack is spammable, so it's the highest DPS, but you also need to be careful in how you utilize the rolling attack because there's a mechanic in this game where if you roll too many times in quick succession, it's generally like 6 times in a row. Sparkster will actually get exhausted and you'll lose control of Sparkster for like a solid 3 seconds. That value drains just gradually as you play and don't perform rolling attacks. And it also completely resets whenever you take damage. So we're going to see a huge use of that in the stage 3 boss that's going to be coming up in like about a minute's time. And before that, just get through the rest of this mini-boss. Stay at the middle here and be low to avoid taking damage from the explosion and be in position to enter the next part of the auto-scroller slightly faster and get a full health refill. Then it's just a couple more bits of auto-scroller. I'm going to get into the boss. Be a little bit of time between now and then. I'm going to try and transition between each of these carts, try and boost down as soon as I exit the seat and gain control each time. Need to take a particular path here to avoid enemies. Okay, not too bad. Now against my better judgment, I'm going to go for a pure swag thing which doesn't save time and only risks me dying if a lag frame happens at a bad time. Yeah, like... This game has a lot of lag frames, so if you try and perform an action on a lag frame, obviously it doesn't come out, so it's possible to just have an input completely eaten while you're over the pit there, and actually fall into the pit and fully take a death, which is, like, yeah, it's completely risk and it doesn't gain you anything, so objectively you shouldn't do that. Anyway, we can use the rolling attack and have taken damage to reset exhaustion to try and do massive DPS on multi-segment bosses like this. Where normally using the rolling attack, like I say, you'll just wear Sparkster out and lose control by doing that. But since you take damage and keep having it reset, you can just stay inside a boss's hitbox and deal massive damage like that. And for a lot of bosses in the game, that's going to be the main way to actually deal high DPS. So coming into stage 4 now, the submarine. Lots more, technical corridor movement. A couple of precise boosts I'm going to try at the start there. Nice. That's actually pretty precise to get the correct timing for the possum hop out of the boost, because you maintain a bit of the momentum as you continue to come out the boost there and just rapidly decay. So you got to time a jump at the right time to get the right speed value, to get the right distance. I ideally wanted to get that banana for the health pickup, but we can deal without as long as I don't take a ton of damage through the rest of the stage, and this is honestly not a super risky stage for taking damage. Nice, didn't get blocked by the steam vents. So ideally this is the health value that I'm going to take into the boss for stage 4, and I'll expect to take a couple of hits in stage 4 boss, but not a massive amount, so this should be fine. Also, this set of corridors is an instant death hazard where if you don't go fast enough, there's water chasing you that catches up and instantly kills you, but in a speedrun you should never see the water, it's fine. I wouldn't blame people who just watch speedruns of this game for not even knowing that there is water in that section, but yeah, that is the intended mechanic of that section. There's the exhaustion, yeah, so somehow throughout all of that attacking I didn't manage to get hit by anything, so then Sparkster got exhausted for a few seconds, so yeah, you see what that looks like. Alright, phase 3 of the boss already. Yeah, I've already done the first 2 phases of the boss. So the main body of the mech here actually has a pretty narrow and annoying hitbox, but dealing pretty well with it. Okay, that was not too bad. Now, that boss can be a little more difficult than it appears because the arms that are rotating around and moving pseudo-randomly, they have solid hitboxes of their own. And when you collide with the arms, it stops your boost, and or you'll ricochet inwards towards the arms in a weird, unexpected way. Basically, it makes it a lot more difficult to control that fight. You have to play around what the arms are doing all the time, essentially. We're coming into stage 5, Golden Pyramid. Now this is supposed to be not necessarily a long stage, but it's supposed to be a lot longer than what we get in the speedrun, because this is supposed to be like a maze where the panels shift the shape of the pyramid and you're supposed to go through a bunch of different puzzles and sections, but by just switching that panel once and then moving on, we skip a lot of that and get straight to the mini-boss. So I'm already like halfway through the stage when it's like supposed to be longer than this. Okay, gonna line up here for actually a very precise mini skip here. Okay, try this again, please. Alright, second try. Like, so, getting that anything but first try is obviously, like, not ideal, but, like I say, it's actually pretty precise to get that boost parallel to the ceiling, which you need to do, like, at a very high pixel value to... Ah, that sucks. You get to see it again. You get to see the skip again now. That's fine. Right. Okay, nice. And this time, I'm not going to hit the spike ceiling at the end of the stage, which, as you see, unfortunately, is an instant death hazard, like a lot of other things in this game actually turns out to be. That if you collide with the spike ceiling, it doesn't matter how much remaining health you have, you just die on the spot. But my health is a little better coming into the stage 5 boss here now, which is nice, because this is a particularly volatile and dangerous boss. The Sandworm is the only enemy in the game that also has modified damage values for... What the hell is it doing? As you're hitting it, like you can see, my health is already, like, almost all gone. Gonna just take this bit safe. Please die! Oh my god, how is it still alive? Okay. Yeah, so the Sandworm takes modified damage. All of your damage values are halved against it and then rounded down if it's an odd value. So even though it doesn't have much health, it can still take a surprisingly long time to kill that boss. It can just be a little annoying. It's also extremely random in how it behaves. Thankfully, it never decided to dig under the ground, which it can just decide to do, and it's an automatic 5-second time loss whenever it decides to do that. Best part of the run there, you just play the level theme on the piano as it's going. One more hit. Yeah, because I didn't interpose a rocket boost hit during any of those hits there, which reduces the number of hits needed for that mini-boss by 1 because of the damage value of each individual attack. Now using some precise movement, do get through these drums at hopefully a good pace. Nice, that's significantly more difficult than it appears. Now I've got to try and time jump in like a few frames coming out of this pipe. Nice, got that too. Now this is a very laggy corridor, but not too much of a problem. It can just be a little irritating. You keep boosting here. These symbols, I'm using a very precise path through, since if you fall into the pipes below them at any point, they transport you partway back through the stage, and going through the game casually, that's one of the more annoying parts to try and get through. I definitely see people get stuck there quite a lot. It's deceptively difficult. And now as long as you take the same path through this section with the different pipes and entrances, you'll always take the same path. So coming now into the stage 6 boss, Axel Gear. So this is the most dangerous enemy in the game in terms of how much damage you can take in a short space of time. Axel is like the Black Knight rival for Sparkster. And I'm... Okay. That was a sketchy start to the fight where Axel has a lot of attacks that deal very heavy damage. All of his sword-based attacks deal a heart and a half. If he uses his own rocket boost attack, it deals a full 2 hearts of damage. But the kick that he uses only deals half a heart and keeps him in a pretty static position where you can just keep spamming rolling attacks. So I had to be careful around how I was playing that. Especially since I'm trying to also use rocket boost to deal high damage to him, because one thing I haven't mentioned is that when you release a rocket boost in this game, it cancels whatever iframes you currently have and can cause you to take multiple hits in very quick succession. So against Axel, when he can deal very high damage, you can lose over half your health bar on the spot before you even realize what's happened. Now, stage 7, this is another auto-scroller, but I'm going to need to take pretty much the whole auto-scroller to explain how the upcoming boss is going to work. So, stage 7 boss in this game is infamous. It's a robot mech duel, it's like Rock'em Sock'em Robots in space with Axel, and people absolutely hate this fight. In a speedrunning sense and in a casual sense. I've seen people talk about speedrunning this game and playing this game casually, and everyone has the same complaint. This fight sucks. It's not fair, it's too hard, you just die on the spot, how does this fight even work? People hate this fight. And it is very dangerous, even in a speedrun it's very dangerous. And that seems to be the case because it just feels like you die very quickly. Axel will charge towards you, chain some punches, and you'll just die before you really know what's happening. and it just feels like you can't really get anywhere against this guy sometimes, and it feels basically random whenever you win. So I did some digging around in RAM Viewer to like look at memory values of what's actually going on with damage values in this fight, and I learned that the two mechs are identical, so like you have the exact same capabilities as Axel's mech. It's just that damage is very variable in this fight, and the game doesn't teach you about how the fight works at all. So Axel is basically able to play with task accuracy and maximize his damage output, whereas you are given no information about how to do that. The TLDR of how to do that is you can use left and right punches, and you can like spam them in any like speed and order that you want, but if you're trying to optimize damage output, there is a right way to do it and then a million wrong ways to do it. You need to strictly alternate your punches, where if you're doing left, right, then the base damage of the punches will increase, and they will further increase for how close the punches are together. So like, the speed of your punch combinations directly influences your damage output. But a lot of people, for a long time, aim to just spam the same jab, since it's easier to at least control where he is by doing that, but that lowers your damage output and makes you deal pitiful damage with each punch. Now that's a problem because his AI also changes depending on his remaining HP, where while his HP is high, he's basically random and can do whatever he wants to do. Once he reaches about 50% HP, he'll start defending a lot more, and basically give you some opportunities to get some well-timed punches in. Once he reaches low health though, he will start a chain of alternating punches and berserk rush you down, and he does not stop that until you are dead. Like, you can avoid it for as long as possible, but once he's in that desperation phase, the fight is a pure damage race. He must die before he kills you. Otherwise, it's just you wipe. So if you play the fight slowly, you just decrease the chances of being able to even finish the fight. So the strategy here is going to be to just try and chain the most accurate punches possible over and over to get him into desperation as soon as possible while I have a higher health value, and then just damage race him to the end. This is still very difficult though. This is one of the most dangerous parts of any run, and if I take a death, this loses like a minute, no questions asked. So this is 100% serious time. I've already missed once. Okay, that's not bad. There it is. Yeah, so that's the idea. So I won there because once he started trying to come at me, he was already at very low health, and I still had a lot of health left. But once he starts that left-right chain, and once he's able to close the distance, it's hard to put into words how quickly your health can deplete at that point. Like, I didn't have more than a few more seconds to finish the fight there, if that. Okay, now we're in the final stage, and you get some beautifully 3D rendered missile graphics here on the Super Nintendo. It's wonderful. Like 3D graphics before we even like gone into N64 or anything. They're very deadly though, because these missiles do kill you in one hit if they crush you, regardless of your remaining HP, so I'm taking a very safe strat to get through these in a certain number of cycles. Just making sure I'm not actually getting contacted by it at any point. Okay, now we're through into stage 8 proper, and another exhaustion. Lovely. Thanks, game. So, already coming into the first mini-boss here, this weird mecha wolf thing, which the root notes that used to describe like enemy health values just called that guy Weird Wolf, so it's like, I'm fine calling it Weird Wolf. But we're also going to come into the second mini-boss quite soon after a couple more hallways, the core, and this is one of the most dangerous fights in the game for sure. I'm going to need to do a lot of damage to a lot of different targets, and I'm going to be trying to damage boost on the correct targets here. So these blue crystals deal a full heart of damage every time they touch you, whereas the yellow rings here deal only half a heart of damage, but I'm trying to remain in contact with the blue crystals as much as possible to deal faster damage here. So you don't really have full control over what you are damage boosting on. However, that was a good core fight overall. So we're actually coming towards the end of the game at this point. Also, sorry, seizure warning, like photo epilepsy here. That's just outrageous, and it's yeah, whatever. Sorry about that. So a few more corridors and I'm going to come into the final boss already. Like, wow, fast game, yeah. Now, hopefully, I'm not going to take any hits because I do want to have as much health as possible for the final boss. If I go into the final boss with full health, I will give an attempt at going for the fastest strat for the final boss. Exhausted again. That's like the third time in the run. Okay, since I'm at full health, I'm going to try to go for the fastest strat, which requires me to take a lot of damage boosting. This is very risky and will probably get me killed, but if I kill the boss first, time is when the boss explodes. Okay, never mind. Forget that. If he opens with, like, that attack pattern, I can't risk going for that. I'm gonna need to just wait here now. Oh, come on, dude. This is slow as hell now. But that is time. Flat 20. Okay. Not the cleanest run, but I haven't exactly been active in this game for a super long time. Aren't you glad that I didn't submit a 20 estimate now? That's like... well, I mean, I technically... Okay, no, I mean, I wouldn't have been underestimate, but I wouldn't have been overestimate either. So, I don't know. Take that as you will. Either way, I enjoyed this game a lot. Really grateful to be asked to come back to show the game again. Always love participating in this event, so thank you guys very much. Hopefully people at home enjoyed. Had some fun watching this. If you're all interested in running this game, please do either contact me or contact really anyone with the Sparkster SNES tag in the Rocket Knight Speedrun Discord. If you visit the speedrun.com leaderboard page, it's easy to find the Discord server link, and always love seeing people interested in this game wanting to learn it. So yeah, if this looks like a cool time, please do pop along and ask for some help. Always happy to help people to get to grips with this game. And I'm going to head off in just a second and let people get ready for the next game. I'm not entirely sure what the next game is, but I'm sure it's very, very good. So thank you guys very much for joining, and I will be signing off, and please stick around for more SNES action. I'll see you guys next time.